Good morning, students. In the topic of conversion, let us discuss about active and passive. In our previous video lecture, we have discussed about rules and regulations related with active passive voice. What is the meaning of active? What is the meaning of passive? And after that, a set of rules were discussed to you. How we are going to change active sentences into passive ones. Okay. Regarding this rule, we will continue next step of active passive means interrogative sentences. ठीक है, पहले आपने assertive sentences को active से passive के लिए पढ़ा, अब आपका interrogative sentences है. Students, those 5 rules which were applied to assertive sentence, they are in the same way applied to your interrogative sentences. मतलब जो 5 रूल आपको डिस्कस किए गए थे एक्टिव से पैसिव, वो सारे रूल्स जो है वो आपको इंटरोगेटिव में भी लगाने हैं. मतलब वैसे ही आपको ऑब्जेक्ट का सब्जेक्ट बनाना है, हेल्पिंग वर्ब यूज करनी है, मेन वर्ब का थर्ड फॉर्म यूज करना है और फाइनली बाय एजेंट यानी सब्जेक्ट को ऑब्जेक्ट बनाना है. बट वी आर गोइंग टू चेंज स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सेंटेंस, है ना. वो असर्टिव था इसलिए उसका सीक्वेंस क्या था, सब्जेक्ट वर्ब ऑब्जेक्ट. एंड हियर as far as interrogative sentence is concerned, the structure of interrogative sentence is little bit different from assertive sentence. So now just see the structure. In interrogative sentence, we have the structure. First of all, we put helping verb, है ना. Is the mother cooking food? Is the mother cooking the food? Question. ठीक है. In active voice, we get the structure. First of all, helping verb, auxiliary verb or helping verb, and then subject, then main verb. Being a continuous sentence, we have here ing form, so main verb, and finally object. अभी जब आप इंटरोगेटिव सेंटेंस को पैसिव में कन्वर्ट करते हैं तो उसका स्ट्रक्चर नहीं चेंज करते. ठीक है, आप रूल्स वही 5 रूल्स अप्लाई करेंगे बट स्ट्रक्चर जो है वो आपका इंटरोगेटिव वाला होगा. ठीक है, मान लीजिए ये सेंटेंस आपका होगा द मदर इज कुकिंग फूड, तो आप इसको कैसे पैसिव में बनाते हैं, द फूड इज बीइंग कुक्ड बाय द मदर. ठीक है, क्या बनता, द फूड is being cooked, means third form आपको, और ये ing आपका being में एडजस्ट हुआ. previously I have explained to you. तो being cooked, the food is being cooked by the mother. ठीक है, the by plus agent means subject जो आपका ऑब्जेक्ट है. ठीक, ये लेकिन स्ट्रक्चर किसका है, असर्टिव सेंटेंस का. And we have to convert the sentence into interrogative structure. Okay, मतलब इंटरोगेटिव में इंटरोगेटिव ही स्ट्रक्चर अप्लाई किया जाएगा जिसके लिए आपका जो इज वाला फॉर्म है वो पहले अप्लाई होगा. ठीक है, इज द फूड बीइंग कुक्ड बाय मदर, फाइनली वी पुट क्वेश्चन मार्क. ठीक है, अब आपका ये जो सेंटेंस है दैट हैज बीन कन्वर्टेड इनटू पैसिव वॉइस विद द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ इंटरोगेटिव सेंटेंस. यानी पैसिव बदलने का सिस्टम सब कुछ वही है, बस आपको हेल्पिंग वर्ब की प्लेस बदल देनी है जो सब्जेक्ट से पहले रहेगा. एंड फाइनली इन द प्लेस ऑफ फुल स्टॉप वी विल पुट इंटरोगेटिव मार्क मींस क्वेश्चन मार्क. ठीक है, तो यही, इसमें भी कुछ भी ज़्यादा आपको परेशान होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. हाँ, अब इंटरोगेटिव का जो सेकंड पार्ट है दैट इज WH वर्ड, मतलब जैसे हु है, व्हाट है, ये सारे जो क्वेश्चन वर्ड होते हैं, अगर क्वेश्चन वर्ड आता है, WH वर्ड आता है या हाउ मेनी और हाउ मच वाला भी आता है, तो जो क्वेश्चन वर्ड है वो पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन वर्ड इससे भी पहले प्लेस ले लेता है. यानी तब इसका स्ट्रक्चर क्या हो जाता है, यहाँ पर हम उस क्वेश्चन वर्ड को प्लेस देते हैं जो ऑलरेडी एक्टिव सेंटेंस में दिया रहता है और उसके टेंस के अकॉर्डिंग उसका हेल्पिंग वर्ब पहले रखते हैं, फिर सब्जेक्ट आता है और फाइनली वी पुट द क्वेश्चन मार्क. यानी स्ट्रक्चर इंटरोगेटिव वाला ही होता है, बस उसके पहले हम क्वेश्चन वर्ड को प्लेस करते हैं. ठीक है, जैसे व्हाट है, जैसे व्हाट डिड यू डू, तुमने क्या किया. ठीक है, तो आपका आपका पैसिव हुआ व्हाट वाज डन बाय यू। व्हाट वाज डन बाय यू क्या हुआ, आपका जो क्वेश्चन वर्ड है वो सबसे पहले, उसके बाद अकॉर्डिंग टू पास्ट एंड डेफिनिट टेंस दिस वन, मतलब हैपनिंग पर आपने चूज किया, मेन वर्ब की थर्ड फॉर्म एंड फाइनली बाय एडजेक्टिव। ठीक है, तो इंटरोगेटिव या WH क्वेश्चन स्टेटमेंट में कोई खास कुछ भी खास डिफरेंस नहीं है। इंटरोगेटिव में आप हेल्पिंग वर्ब पहले रखते हैं तभी आपका सेंटेंस इंटरोगेटिव बनता है, और क्वेश्चन वर्ड को अपनी प्लेस पे रखते हैं। बाकी पैसिव बनाने का सारा जो वर्किंग सिस्टम है, जो रूल सिस्टम है, वो सेम अप्लाई होता है। ओके स्टूडेंट, नाउ नेक्स्ट टर्म रिलेटेड विद योर क्वेश्चन वर्ड। आप जानते हैं हु का जो पॉजेसिव फॉर्म होता है, सॉरी ऑब्जेक्टिव फॉर्म होता है, दैट वन इज whom, है ना। who, whom, whose। who आपका सब्जेक्टिव नॉमिनेटिव फॉर्म है, whom पॉजेसिव, और उसका whose जो सॉरी whom ऑब्जेक्टिव है, और जो whose है वो उसका पॉजेसिव फॉर्म। यहाँ में पॉजेसिव फॉर्म की कोई नीड नहीं, क्योंकि हम अपने सब्जेक्ट को ऑब्जेक्ट में कन्वर्ट करते हैं। ठीक, तो ये who एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन वर्ड है जिसको हम पैसिव बनाने में बाय who में कन्वर्ट करते हैं। ठीक, क्योंकि ये डबल वर्क करता है ना, ये क्वेश्चन वर्ड भी है और यही आपका सब्जेक्ट भी है। ठीक है, तो सब्जेक्ट की तरह भी वर्क कर रहा है क्वेश्चन वर्ड। बीइंग अ क्वेश्चन वर्ड आपको अपनी प्लेस पे ही उसको रखना है, हटाना नहीं, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन वर्ड सबसे पहले प्लेस लेता है। तो अब इसका पैसिव फॉर्म हमें चूंकि ऑब्जेक्टिव लगाना है सब्जेक्ट, तो बाय whom। ठीक, सेंटेंस देखिए, जैसे who plucked the flower, फूल किसने तोड़ा, who plucked the flower। क्वेश्चन, who converted by whom, converted it by whom। ठीक है, now your sentence belongs past and definite, so was, क्योंकि अभी जो आपका फ्लावर है वो आना है, तो by whom was the flower plucked। Who broke the glass, by whom the glass was by whom was the glass broken। ठीक है, तो ये आपका who को हम by whom में कन्वर्ट कर देते हैं, क्योंकि ये इसका एडजेक्टिव फॉर्म है, इसलिए लास्ट में इसको ले जाने की by एजेंट की कोई जरूरत नहीं होती। जो by प्लस एजेंट है वो आपका पहले ही वर्क कर गया। ठीक, तो who is converted into by who plucked the flower, by whom was the flower plucked, who broke the glass, by whom was the glass broken। ठीक है, वर्ब की थर्ड फॉर्म, सारे सिस्टम अपनी जगह पर रहेंगे। तो इसके ये आपका इंटरोगेटिव सेंटेंसेस जो है वो आपका कंप्लीट हुआ है। ठीक है, आपकी एक्सरसाइज जो है वो करनी है ऑन पेज 115 12.9। ठीक, जस्ट वेट अ मिनट। क्वेश्चन क्वेश्चन के लिए जो आपकी एक्सरसाइज है वो आपकी बुक में फिलहाल शो नहीं हो रही है, सो लीव दैट पार्ट एंड यू हैव टू चेंज पैसिव वाइज एक्सरसाइज ऑन पेज 113 and exercise number is 12.6। okay? 12.6। Now, last part of active passive is imperative sentence। imperative sentence, what is imperative sentence? Which express order, suggestion, negation etc. जो आदेश को और सुझाव को या निषेध वाक्य मतलब मना करने वाले डोंट वाले सेंटेंस, ये निषेध इस चीज ये फीलिंग्स जो एक्सप्रेस करते हैं, दैट वन इज कॉल्ड imperative sentence। So student, First of all, you should know that exclamatory and optative sentences are not converted into passive voice. So this one is the last topic related with active passive imperative sentences. Imperative sentence suggested, order, request, and suggestion. Excellent. And second important thing related with imperative sentence, all subject is always hidden. Subject is doer is always hidden. इसमें कर्ता नहीं दिखता, हमेशा छुपा हुआ होता है. And finally, and the most important thing is, it start with first form of the main verb. जो imperative sentences हैं, they start with the first form of the main verb. Sometimes it start with is or sir or ma'am. ये एड्रेसिंग वर्ड से रिक्वेस्टिंग फॉर्म से भी स्टार्ट होते हैं, और फाइनली जो स्ट्रक्चर होता है इंपेरेटिव सेंटेंस का, दैट इज मेन वर्ब की फर्स्ट फॉर्म से स्टार्ट होते हैं. सब्जेक्ट आपका हिडन होता है, जैसा शट द डोर और ओपन द विंडो, डिस्ट्रीब्यूट द कॉपीज विद द स्टूडेंट, पुश द टेरेस बिहाइंड द लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल. So such type of sentences are under the category of imperative sentences. Okay, student. This topic will continue in our next video lecture. Till that, have a nice day. And you have to do exercise 12(6) on page 130.
Hello students, myself Anand Saini, I am your chemistry tutor. Let's start to learn chemistry. So students, in this video lecture we are discussing about log form of periodic table. In previous video lectures we are discussing about like various type of periodic table such as modern periodic table, Mendele's periodic table. So what is the difference? Exactly, what is the difference between modern periodic table and log form of the periodic table? Actually, nowadays we are using this periodic table. Okay. So in this video lecture we are discussing about the common topics, and the topics are: who is the discoverer of this periodic table? What is the base of this periodic table? Exactly, what is the periodic law? And what are characteristics, advantage, demerits of this periodic table? Actually, the board examination, in the board examination, the question are asked like what is periodic law of long form of periodic table. Exactly. In another way, the question are also asked like write the important characteristics of long form of periodic table and who is the discoverer, and also write today 2 demerits of this periodic table. So now let's start discussing about this periodic table. The very first point is discoverer. Who is the discoverer of this periodic table? So here comes 3 scientists are named on this periodic table, and the scientist name is Rand, Werner, and Bury. Okay. So who is the discoverer? Rand, Werner, and Bury. Okay, na? Rand, Werner, and Bury. This is Bury. Are the discoverer of this periodic table. Right now, what is the base of this periodic table? Actually, what is the base of this periodic table? So base, I think you know about the electronic configuration. You know what is electronic configuration? In first chapter atomic structure, 9th class, we are discussing about the electronic configuration in atomic structure. Okay, so let's start. What is the base? So your answer is base of this periodic table, that is long form of the periodic table, is electronic configuration. So base is electronic configuration. Then your next question is what is periodic law of this periodic table? This is the too much important question. In board examination, many times this question is asked. Okay, asked to the student. So what is periodic law of this periodic table. Actually, statement are similar like your previous periodic law, like Mendeleev periodic law or modern periodic law. Exactly, statement are similar. Little bit difference is electronic configuration. Actually, in Mendeleev periodic law, the statement is physical and chemical properties of the elements. Physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic weight. In Mendeleev periodic law. In Mendeleev periodic law, the statement is elements are periodic functions of their atomic weight. Okay. So physical and chemical properties, actually base wise na. What is the base of Mendeleev's periodic law? Atomic weight. What is the base of modern periodic table? So you know very well, that is atomic number. And here comes, what is the base? Electronic configuration. So exactly statement are similar. Okay. Now again, modern periodic law. What is modern periodic law? So modern periodic law statement is the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic weight. What is here? The periodic law. Exactly. The physical and chemical properties of elements are, periodic function of their electronic configuration. Got it? The statement is too much easy. Exactly like previous statement, modern periodic law. So modern periodic law में आप क्या यूज कर रहे थे? Atomic weight. Here comes electronic configuration. So statement is the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of their electronic configuration. Got it? This is the periodic law of the modern periodic table. So now we are discussing about the characteristics of this periodic table. Okay, let's start the characteristics of this periodic table. So characteristics. Okay, let's start. Characteristics point wise. Look at here. Total number of the column that is the vertical column. Vertical column are called group. Total number of the vertical columns are also known as group, and the group are 18. Look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like there, 18. Okay, so 18 columns are there. Now horizontal rows, total number of the period. So the periods are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. In this periodic table, total number of groups are 18 and periods are 7. Also 2 rows. The horizontal rows are, number of horizontal rows are 9. But the number of period are 7 and the number of group are 18. Got it? So now, your next point, here goes. You also known as this periodic table, the base of this periodic table is electronic configuration. So look at here the specific point in this periodic table. In this periodic table, elements are classified into 4 blocks. In this periodic table, elements are classified into 4 blocks. Starting first two columns. Elements are known as S block elements. First two columns elements are known as S block elements, and here come 13 to 18. 13 to 18. This is 13 to elements. 13 to 18 elements are known as P block elements. Okay. In this periodic table, elements are classified into 4 blocks: S block elements, P block elements, D block elements, F block elements. Got it? So S block, you know, here comes the S block elements starting first and second. Column number first, column number second, that is group number first, group number second, group first and group second are known as S block elements, but group 13 to group 18 are known as P block elements. And now D block. D block elements are situated between S block and P block elements. And the number is 3 to 13. These are D block elements, but the F block elements are exactly separate from this periodic table. Here comes two rows, that is lanthanide and actinide. Lanthanide series and actinide series, both series having 14 elements, such as lanthanide series having the elements from 58 to 71 atomic number. Okay, that is 58 to 71, and the elements are known as lanthanide. Exactly, the question is like, what do you mean by lanthanide's elements? So lanthanide's elements or actinide's elements are known as F block elements. What is F block element? And what is specific lanthanide's element? So lanthanide elements are known as the elements are fixed or situated in this series from atomic number 58 to 71, are also known as the 4F series elements. Okay, 4F series elements. 4F. And here comes 5F. Actually, the outermost electron of these elements are filled into 4F subset. That's why these elements are known as lanthanide or 4F series elements. Outermost electron of these elements are filled into 4F subcell. Exactly, here comes 5F subcell. This is the basic reason. That's why these elements are known as 4F series elements or 5F series elements, also known as lanthanide or actinide's elements. Got it? So now we are discussing about the specific points of group or period. Okay. So what do you mean by exactly groups? Do you know? Now we are start about group wise element. Okay, the group number first. These elements are known as alkaline metals, and second group elements are known as alkaline earth metals. Alkaline earth metals. Okay. First group elements are known as alkaline metal, second group elements are known as alkaline earth metal. Exactly. Group number 18. Group number 18. These elements are known as zero group elements. 18 is also known as zero group element. Got it? Zero group element are also known as noble gases. This is the basic one. Okay? Noble and also inert gas. So 18 group are also known as noble gases or inert gases or zero group elements. Now here comes the most important 17 group elements. 17 group elements are known as halogen elements. What is halogen? Okay, so 17 group elements are known as halogen elements, and 13, that is boron family, next the carbon family, nitrogen family, oxygen family. Okay, so also known as, okay, your next question is D block elements. About D block elements. So D block elements are known as transition elements. Exactly, the question arise in board examination. What do you mean by transition elements? So your simple answer is D block elements are the transition elements, and they are situated between S block and P block elements. Got it? What is transition elements? D block elements are known as transition elements, and these elements are situated in the long form of periodic table between S block and P block elements. Exactly, about F block element. What are the F block elements? F block elements are known as inner transition element. What is inner? Take it. Look at here. These are transition. Here comes inner transition element. Okay, transition element, inner transition. So now we are discussing about period. What are the periods? So period. Okay, total number of very small period. First period known as very small period. Here comes only two elements. This is first period. This is first period. Only two elements are fixed here. Okay. So next is the second and third period. Second and third period. Total number of elements are 8. Total number of elements are 8. That's why it is known as short period. First period is very short period. Second and third, short period. Okay. Next, fourth and fifth period having elements 18 and 18. That's why are known as long period. What is long period? Okay. First period is very short, having only two elements. Second and third periods are known as short period, having 8 and 8 elements. Fourth and fifth period are known as long period. Why? Because having 18 and 18 period. Good. Next, sixth period. Sixth period having 32 elements, and this period is known as very long period, and exactly the seventh period is known as incomplete period. It is incomplete period. Okay. So the total number of elements according to period wise 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32, and the last one is incomplete period. Got it? This is the main important characteristics of this periodic table and advantage. We are discussing about the advantage. So advantage, the basic advantage is in this periodic table. According to this periodic table is the study about the elements is too simple. Why? Because such as if elements are situated in a particular group, then we are discussing about the very first element, about the chemical properties directly resemble to or another period, on another elements of their group. कहने का मतलब ये है कि इस पीरियड में इस ग्रुप में जो भी एलिमेंट रखा गया है उनकी अगर हमें प्रॉपर्टी पता करना है तो आपने क्या करना होगा, वेरी फर्स्ट एलिमेंट जो आपका है उसकी प्रॉपर्टी जैसी होगी वैसी ही प्रॉपर्टी अदर एलिमेंट्स की भी होती है. ओके. Okay, about next advantage is in this periodic table the specific point. In this periodic table the specific point about metal and non-metal is here. Look at here. This is the zigzag line. This is zigzag. Okay. This is the zigzag line. On the behalf of this line, the division of metals and non-metals are too much specific. Like this, these elements are metals and the rest of non-metals. And the specific, these elements like underline elements are known as metalloids. Okay, so this is the line of division between metals and non-metals. This is the specific advantage of this periodic table. And the too much specific point of this periodic table, also known as advantage of this periodic table, the study about the elements is too much become easier on the behalf of their classification block wise. S block elements, P block elements, D block elements, F block elements. This is too much easier study classification about the elements. And the next point is about demerits. So now we are discussing about demerits. So demerits of this periodic table is about the position of hydrogen. There is no fixed position for the hydrogen elements. Why? Because hydrogen is resemble their properties like first group elements and also known as well as halogen elements. So there is no fixed position for the hydrogen. And exactly what is the reason why F block elements are not placed in this periodic table, why these two rows are separated from the whole periodic table. This is the demerit of this periodic table. So now, okay. So today class is over. Thank you.
Hello students, I am Salem. Today I teach you source of energy. Today heading is energy from ocean. What is energy from ocean? The ocean acquire almost 71% of the Earth's surface, and the enormous amount of water present in them not only act as a big collector of solar heat energy. Now, I repeat, what is energy from ocean? That energy obtained by ocean is called energy from ocean. That energy obtained by ocean is called, this energy is called energy from ocean. Now, energy from ocean defined by definition. The ocean acquire almost 71 of the Earth's surface. The ocean acquire almost 71 of the Earth's surface, and the enormous amount of water present in them not only act as a big collector of solar heat energy. Now, but also store large amount of energy due to use a renewable resource of energy, but also restore large amount of energy due to use a renewable resource of energy. The main form of an ocean energy are decreases as under. Now there is a three types: ocean thermal energy, ocean tidal energy, sea wave energy. Ocean thermal energy, first is ocean thermal energy, and second ocean tidal energy, and third sea wave energy. Now, energy from ocean. The ocean acquire almost 71 of the Earth's surface, and almost amount of water present in them not only act as a big collector, of solar heat energy. Now I repeat this definition of form of energy from ocean. The ocean acquire almost 71% of the Earth's surface, and the enormous amount of water present in them not only act as a big collector solar heat energy. Now then, but also store large amount of energy due to use air as a renewable resource energy. The main form of an ocean energy are increases to increases and then three types where Newton 70 was Newton second of surface. Now I repeat, the scientists gave you that some law also about the inclined surface a body placed in the body moves with a uniform velocity. Now, if the change the uniform velocity of the object, then apply a external force or unbalanced force, then the change the uniform velocity of object. Now Newton's give the some law both force and motion. Now Newton's first law, Newton's second law, Newton's third law. Then first of all, Newton's first law of motion. What is Newton's first law of motion? Then I am explained by example. Then let us a body placed in state of rest. Now, the body always placed in the state of rest. If a external force applied, a external unbalanced force applied on the object, then we can see the object change the state of rest in to the motion. The object will be moving. Now, then if the object is state of motion, now the body always placed in the state of motion if not applying any external force. Now, if the applying, then this body moving in this direction. Now, if force external applied and the object opposite direction of the moving direction of object. Now, the body change the state of moving position to state of rest. Then, after some time, the object will be in this place. Now, the body is rest state. Now, then Newton's first law of motion. A body continues to be in the state of rest or uniform in a straight line unless acted upon by an external unbalanced force. This law of motion, this force, law of motion, also called the law of inertia. This Newton's first law of motion, the law of the inertia. It is also called law of the inertia. Now, first of all, what is Newton's first law? Now, a body placed in a state of rest. What will be the state form? Now, when the external unbalanced force apply on the object, then we can see the object change the state of rest position to moving position by external unbalanced force. Now, second example for Newton's first law of motion. Now, a body moving position in this place. Now, this moving direction in this, now a unbalanced force applied on the object opposite direction of the moving of object. Now, the object after some time will be in this place. Now, rest position, the moving position change into the rest position by external unbalanced force. Now, Newton's first law of motion. A body continues to be in the state of rest or uniform in a straight line unless acted upon a external unbalanced force. This law of motion is called, also called the law of inertia, and it is called Newton's first law of motion. Now, note this position and next heading, inertia. What is inertia? Now, note this. And next heading is inertia. What is inertia? All objects have a tendency to resist the change in the state of motion or rest. All objects have a tendency to resist the change in the state of motion or rest. This tendency is called inertia. Now, and repeat. All objects have a tendency to resist the change in the state of motion. Now, all objects have the tendency to detect the change in the state of motion or rest. This tendency is called inertia. Now, if any person is asking you what is inertia, then like to all objects have a tendency to resist. All objects have a tendency to resist of the change in the state of motion or rest. This tendency is called inertia. It is denoted by I. Now, all objects do not have same inertia because the inertia depend on the mass of the body. Inertia is depend on the mass of object. Now, all objects have a tendency to resist the change in the state of motion and rest. Now, I repeat, all objects have a tendency to resist the change in the state of motion or rest. This tendency is called inertia. It is denoted by I. Now, all objects do not have same inertia because the inertia is depend on the mass of object. Then what is mass? Mass of a bodies mass of a bodies is measure of its inertia. Now, mass of a body is measure of its inertia. Now, I repeat, what is inertia? All objects have a tendency to resist the change in the state of motion of rest. Now, this tendency is called inertia. What is inertia? And repeat, what is inertia? All objects have a tendency to resist the change in the state of motion or rest. Now, this tendency is called inertia. It is noted by symbol I. Now, note, all objects do not have same inertia. All objects do not have same inertia because the inertia is dependent of the mass of object. Now, what is mass? Mass of a body is measure of its inertia. Measure of its inertia. Now, this. So by example, now this is hanger. This is string. We have two baskets. First basket is A and second basket is B. Now, first basket filled by sand, then it's have a more mass. Now, it's have not a more mass. If this basket do not have more mass, now B baskets have a more mass because this is filled by sand. Now, when we have two baskets A and B, this basket fill is suspended by a string with hanger. Now, basket A and basket B. Basket A basket A and basket B. Basket B filled by sand. Now it's have more mass. Now, if applied to external force in this basket, now this basket change the state of rest. Now this basket do not change state of rest. Now inertia, an object have a tendency to resist the change in the state of motion and rest. Now then note this.
Hello students, welcome in the online class of biology. As you all know that we are discussing about lesson reproduction, and I was telling you about different types of vegetative reproduction, and I already told you about two methods that were cutting and layering. And today I am going to discuss about third type of vegetative propagation, which is grafting. What is grafting? Grafting is a technique of joining parts of two different plants to form a composite plant. That means in this process, when we have studied cutting, we use only one plant. When we studied layering, we used only a plant. But in this case, in the process of grafting, we need two plants. We join two parts of different plant. That means a root of another plant, a shoot of another plant, and we join them together to form a composite plant. Now, what was the conditions required for the joining of the two plants? So the first plant have strong root stem. That means the plant which has a strong root is used as a stalk or a stem. And the second plant branch is used, which is used as scion. So the two parts are stalk and scion. Scion which have superior characters. For the requirement of stalk, we need only a strong pillar which has a strong root system. But when we want to study the scion, what are the characters required? The scion should have all superior characters present in them. That means it should be an advanced plant. Now, what is the process? Shoot of the stalk cut about 20 to 30 centimeter. The plant which we use as a stalk, which roots we are using, which shoots we are using, that shoot of the stalk should cut 20 to 20 centimeter above the ground, and after that all the leaves and buds are removed from the stalk of the plant. Next thing, complementary cuts are made in stalk and scion. Both the parts which we are going to use, we should make cuts in them. Why we should make this cuts? Scion can be fitted exactly in the grooves of stalk, so that our scion can be fitted in the grooves of stalk. And after that, after fitting, we should tie it tightly with the help of tough thread, and then cover it with a grafting wax to avoid any kind of infection. So this is about scion and stalk and about the grafting process of the plant. This is the structure, this is the scion, and that part which root we are using is called stalk, and the cuts are present in the middle which are used to fit grooves of both the plants towards each other. And now, as we studied vegetative propagation, three methods, cutting, layering and grafting. Now the question is, what are the advantages of vegetative propagation? Why we should apply this process instead of sexual and asexual reproduction? We are coming to this process. Why? What's the need? What are the advantages of this process? So the first advantage is plants grow and develop faster. If we sow seeds of a plant and then we wait for the plant to grow, that plant will grow comparatively slower than the plant which we get from vegetative propagation, because the plants which are grown by the process of vegetative propagation grow faster and develop faster in comparison to the plants which are grown with the help of seeds. Second is, if seed capacity is poor, for example in some plants like banana and orange, the capacity of seed is very poor, it cannot grow easily and can't grow faster. In that case, vegetative propagation is very helpful, because in this process we don't need any seed, so without the help of seed, if seed capacity of poor, that doesn't matter for us, we can easily propagate the plant with the help of vegetative propagation. Second thing, the plants which we get from vegetative propagation is genetically similar. That means that exactly, as I told you earlier also, that these plants are carbon copy of their parents. They are exactly similar to their parents. So because they are genetically similar, they are exactly similar, that means they are very helpful in preserving desirable characters. We can easily preserve the characters of the plant by doing vegetative propagation of the plant. Next, in the methods which we studied in this propagations, whether they are cutting or layering or grafting, all these methods are quite easy and quick, that we can get a quick response, and it is very easy to do vegetative propagation for farmers. Second thing, it helps in cloning of plants. Plants can easily be cloned. We can easily get offspring. Clones means the exactly carbon copy of the parent. So it helps in cloning of plant, and it also helps to remove common infections. So there are some common infections in the plant, we can easily remove it by these processes. And it is helpful in getting economically important plants. That means those plants which are economically important, which are important in the presence of money, in the prospectus of money. So we can easily get those economically important plants by the help of vegetative propagation. So students, हम reproduction chapter पढ़ रहे हैं, हमने asexual reproduction पढ़ा, इस टाइम हम vegetative reproduction की बात कर रहे थे, जिसमें ऑलरेडी 2 मेथड्स मैंने आपको प्रीवियस क्लास में बताए थे, which were cutting and layering. कटिंग में हम प्लांट को कट कर रहे थे, प्लांट की स्टेम को, और उसको सॉइल में डिप कर रहे थे, उसको सॉइल में जब लगाते रहते तो उससे न्यू प्लांट आ जा रहा था. या फिर हमने लेयरिंग पढ़ा था कि हम एक प्लांट के स्टेम को बेंड करके सॉइल में डीप इनसाइड द सॉइल उसको ग्रो कर रहे थे और उससे न्यू प्लांट आ जा रहा था. अब हम थर्ड प्रोसेस पढ़ रहे हैं, विच इज ग्राफ्टिंग. ग्राफ्टिंग क्या होती है? टेक्निक, एक ऐसी टेक्निक है जिसमें हम टू प्लांट्स के डिफरेंट पार्ट्स को ज्वाइन करते हैं एक साथ, और ये दोनों के ज्वाइनिंग से, दोनों के फॉर्मेशन से फॉर्म होता है कॉम्पोजिट प्लांट. अब इसमें कंडीशंस में जो फर्स्ट प्लांट यूज करेंगे उसका हमें स्ट्रॉन्ग रूट सिस्टम चाहिए. दैट मींस उस प्लांट की रूट्स बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग होनी चाहिए, और जिस प्लांट की रूट हमें स्ट्रॉन्ग मिलती है, हमारे ग्राफ्टिंग के प्रोसेस में हमें फिट मिलती है, हम उसको एज अ स्टॉक या फिर एज अ स्टम्प उसको यूज करते हैं. सेकंड प्लांट का हमें क्या चाहिए? सेकंड प्लांट को हम स्क्योन बोलते हैं. उसकी हमें ब्रांच की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, उसकी जो सेकंड प्लांट की ब्रांच जो है उसको हम एज अ स्क्योन यूज करेंगे. अब हम स्टॉक में कुछ खास कैरेक्टर्स नहीं देखते, उसमें हम ये देखते हैं कि जो रूट स्टम्प है वो स्ट्रॉन्ग होना चाहिए. बट जब स्क्योन जिसको हम लेते हैं, जिसको हम उसके ऊपर लगाने वाले, इट शुड हैव सुपीरियर कैरेक्टर्स. उसके जितने भी कैरेक्टर्स हो वो सारे बहुत एडवांस्ड और बहुत अच्छे होने चाहिए, तभी प्लांट की ग्रोथ पॉसिबल है. अब प्रोसेस क्या होता है इसको करने का? जो हमारा स्टॉक है, जो बेस है, उसको 20 to 30 सेंटीमीटर ग्राउंड के ऊपर जो है होना चाहिए, हम उसको कट कर देते हैं. कट करने के बाद हम उसमें कट्स बनाते हैं, डिफरेंट टाइप्स के कट्स जो फॉर्म किए जाते हैं, और सिमिलर ऐसे ही कट्स हमारे स्क्योन में भी फॉर्म किए जाते हैं. स्टॉक से हम सारी बर्ड्स, सारी लीव सब कुछ रिमूव कर देते हैं, जस्ट हमें उसका एक रूट स्टेम चाहिए होता है, हम उसको यूज करते हैं. स्क्योन में सारे पार्ट्स होते हैं, स्क्योन में भी हम सेम ऐसे ग्रूव्स बना लेते हैं, और ये कट्स हम ऐसे बनाते हैं ताकि ये आपस में एक दूसरे के साथ ज्वाइन हो जाए, ये आपस में एक दूसरे के साथ आके जुड़ जाते हैं. जब ये आपस में एक दूसरे के साथ जुड़ जाते हैं तब हम इसके ऊपर थ्रेड अप्लाई कर देते हैं. थ्रेड से इसको जो है बांध दिया जाता है. बांधने के बाद भी थ्रेड हमारा टफ एंड स्ट्रॉन्ग होना चाहिए, हमने उसको टाइटली स्ट्रॉन्ग कर, पर अभी भी इन्फेक्शंस का खतरा है. इनको डिफरेंट जो पैरासाइट्स है, डिफरेंट जो इंसेक्ट्स है या जो चीज उनको हार्म कर सकती है, अभी भी वो इस पे अफेक्ट कर सकते हैं. इसलिए हम इनके ऊपर ग्राफ्टिंग वैक्स अप्लाई कर देते हैं. ग्राफ्टिंग वैक्स अप्लाई करने से क्या होता है कि अब इस पे कोई भी इन्फेक्शन भी नहीं आ सकता. हमने स्टॉक लिया, हमने स्क्योन लिया, स्क्योन के हमने कैरेक्टर्स को अच्छे से होने चाहिए, वो स्क्योन यूज किया, स्टॉक जस्ट बेस स्ट्रॉन्ग होना चाहिए, दोनों में कट्स बनाए, दोनों को ज्वाइन करके थ्रेड बांध दिया. थ्रेड बांधने के बाद हमने उस पर ग्राफ्टिंग वैक्स लगाया ताकि कोई भी इन्फेक्शन उस पर ना हो पाए. अब ये प्रोसेस हम किन किन प्लांट्स पे यूज कर सकते हैं? मैंगो, गुआवा, एप्पल, रबर या लेमन या और भी बहुत सारे प्लांट्स होते हैं जिसमें वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन प्रोपगेशन का ग्राफ्टिंग मेथड यूज हो सकता है। अब वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन के एडवांटेजेस क्या हैं, हम इस मेथड को क्यों अप्लाई करें, हम सेक्सुअली एसेक्सुअली जब चीजें अपने आप हो सकती हैं तो फिर हम वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन क्यों कर रहे हैं। इसके कुछ खास रीजन है, कुछ खास एडवांटेजेस। सबसे पहला कि इन कंपैरिजन टू वो प्लांट जो सीड से ग्रो करते हैं, वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन वाले प्लांट्स जल्दी ग्रो हो जाते हैं और जल्दी डेवलप होते हैं, उनकी स्पीड जो है वो उनसे ज्यादा होती है। कुछ सीड्स की अगर हम बात करें जिनकी सीड कैपेसिटी बहुत पुअर होती है, बनाना की बात करें या हम ऑरेंज की बात करें, इनके सीड्स की कैपेसिटी बहुत पुअर होती है। जब उनको सीड लगाते हैं तो इनको ग्रो होने में बहुत टाइम लगता है। ऐसे कंडीशन में वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन बहुत हेल्पफुल होता है क्योंकि उसकी हेल्प से हम इजिली जो है अपने डिजायर्ड प्लांट को फास्टर ग्रो कर सकते हैं। सेकेंड थिंग मैंने आपको बताया था कि ये जो प्लांट्स होते हैं जेनेटिकली सिमिलर होते हैं अपने पेरेंट्स के, एकदम कार्बन कॉपी होते हैं। तो इससे ये एडवांटेज मिलता है कि जो हमारे डिजायरेबल कैरेक्टर्स है, वो कैरेक्टर्स जो हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट है, वो कैरेक्टर्स जो हमें प्लांट में चाहिए, हम उनको इजिली प्रिजर्व करके रख सकते हैं। हम उनके क्लोन्स बना के रख सकते हैं, हम उसको वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन से प्लांट ग्रो करके रख सकते हैं, हम उन कैरेक्टर्स को प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं। सेकेंड थिंग मैंने तीनों आपको मेथड बताया, चाहे वो कटिंग था, चाहे वो लेयरिंग था, चाहे वो ग्राफ्टिंग था, तीनों ही बहुत इजी मेथड है एंड बहुत क्विक मेथड है। हमें बहुत जल्दी इनका रिजल्ट मिल जाता है एंड इजी टू हैंडल है। साथ ही साथ इन सब प्लांट की क्लोनिंग भी कर सकते हैं, क्लोन्स तैयार करके रख सकते हैं एज आई टोल्ड यू। इससे कॉमन इन्फेक्शंस भी रिमूव कर सकते हैं। अगर प्लांट में कोई कॉमन इन्फेक्शन है, उसमें ग्राफ्टिंग का प्रोसेस हमने कर दिया, इन्फेक्शन वाला पार्ट हटा दिया, सही पार्ट को यूज किया, तो हम क्या इससे कॉमन इन्फेक्शंस को भी दूर कर पा रहे हैं। एंड लास्ट इकोनॉमिकली इंपॉर्टेंट प्लांट्स को हम ग्रो कर सकते हैं, वो प्लांट्स जिनसे हमें ज्यादा इनकम हो सकती है, जो हमारे एनवायरमेंट के लिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है या जो हमारे नीड जिन प्लांट से बहुत ज्यादा है, हम उनको वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन से इजिली ग्रो कर सकते हैं। सो स्टूडेंट्स दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे, थैंक यू।